Okay, there's like so much to fit in this video, and I always have a hard time with this because I have a lot of different levels of people here. And the thing I have the hardest time about is so many of us, we want, this is the answer. We want, this is how you should eat, give me the exact things, which I've given through the meal plan. But what I think is so fascinating is when I teach somebody what works for them versus what works for the general public, because that does not exist, then things are way more successful, especially post-challenge. And so that's just me. Basically what I mean is that we all are very different. And so we have to figure out and really be okay with being our own guinea pig and making this like a fun process, not stressful. This is not about, I think sometimes I see comments and I see posts and it's like, how perfect can I be? And that's not what this is about. This is a learning experience, and this is for you to figure out what works. And we might not get it right on the first time, but that's okay. That's why you're here. So what we're gonna focus on are the 3 macronutrients that do exist, and actually there's 4, water's included in that, so you guys got that checked off because you're drinking lots of water, I hope. So when you're looking at a diet, meal plan, whatever it is, you're really looking at where are the macros for this diet. So what I mean by macronutrients is either 1, it's protein, 2, carbohydrates or carbs, 3, fats. And when you're thinking about your diet and trying to figure out what you want your diet to consist of, what I've seen most of the population does, they say, okay, we know protein's good, we're gonna have a lot of protein. We know carbs are semi-okay, we're gonna have like the good kind of carbs like whole wheat bread or quinoa and oatmeal. Those are all really good, but the fat we're gonna stay away from. So I see a lot of times more on this side than I do this side. And what I'm gonna do with this diet, with your meal plan, and with this way of eating is we're switching things around, because what really can happen from a higher fat diet and a lower carbohydrate diet is happiness. You are really looking at a diet and you think about what is gonna make you feel full, what is gonna satisfy you and make you cut sugar cravings, what is going to make you feel energized and make you not hangry between meals. Fat is that macronutrient for you. And so we are gonna talk a little bit more with Ryan soon about some of the studies that went wrong and why fat is so demonized in society. But when I talk about fats, if you look on the meal plan and the grocery list, you can see I'm talking about coconut and almonds and nuts and seeds and avocado. You know, when you're looking at meats are really great for fats, good kind of fats, if they're coming from a good source. So like sustainable, grass-fed, if possible, beef and those kind of things. Egg yolks are great fats. You guys know I love ghee and butter. The thing with the carbohydrates is what I want for this challenge, these 21 days, and it might not be forever, I really want to lower the carbohydrates for you guys, because what happens when you decrease sugar, you stop this insulin up and down roller coaster, this blood sugar roller coaster, and you can really access fat to start losing weight. The issue is if we combine too high of the two, no good. We'll talk about that more with Ryan. When we have a high spike in sugar, when we eat a lot of carbohydrates, whether that be pasta, whole wheat bread, soda, ice cream, fructose, a date, some fruit, blood sugar goes up and our body has to produce insulin to bring it down. When that constantly happens, this is so many people's problems. They can't lose weight no matter what they try. There's way too much insulin going on and they become some sort of insulin resistant. And that makes it impossible to lose weight because insulin is a storage hormone. You have to remember that. If I'm spiking blood sugar, even if it's a good carb, insulin is being excreted and I can't lose body fat. With high fat, we're stabilizing that pathway and there's very little insulin having to be outputted, which makes us insulin sensitive, which is a good thing. And so even though it's gonna be different because you're eating more fats and your meals are gonna make you feel full longer, you might not feel very hungry. Don't eat if you don't feel hungry, don't force it. This is all about going by what you feel is right. And with the meal plans, if you just follow the meal plans and that's it, then you're good. I really don't think you have to count. You don't have to do all of this calorie counting and macro counting. If you just cut sugar and cut grains and and eat to satisfied or a little before satisfied, then you're gonna be great on this diet. But I know a lot of you guys don't want that. You want numbers. So what I like is with protein, if you are active, if you are a CrossFitter and you're working out two times a day, or even just a really tough workout, not just my workouts, but lots of like at least an hour of working out, then you need most likely around 125 grams at least. If you know your body fat percentage, then it's different. I can tell you exactly how much you need, but that's my heavy workouters. The rest of you guys, I want you guys to play around with a little bit lower than we've done in the past, 75 to 100 grams. Protein can actually turn into a source of glucose. And so if we have excess protein, then our body can turn protein into sugar very quickly. Our body's very fascinating like that. So I would say if we're too high of protein, yet we aren't as active and we aren't needing it as much, then I want you to try a little bit lower, maybe about 75 grams, and that's super easy. That's 25 grams of protein every meal. We're doing 3 meals. If you were a little bit higher, you would have that extra 25 grams of protein in a shake right after you work out. That's super important. The only time you really want to add carbohydrates to your protein shake for you guys is if you are doing 2-a-days, or you are a heavy athlete and you really need to restore glycogen in order for your workouts. But most of you guys, I really want you to try 75 to 100 grams of protein a day. The shakes that I like, I already made a list on. If you go to your resources, there's a really great one, a beef protein isolate, if you don't do whey, called Pure WOD. There is a whey protein, natural whey protein that is ingredients improved. There's one ingredient I'm not like in love with, but it is okay for the challenge, called Formuel X, the natural whey protein. You can get a discount. And then the third protein, if you are plant-based, and it is not nearly as effective. I mean, it's like literally 40% as effective as the other two. So please do whey or beef protein isolate if possible. But protein shakes are going to be pretty important for you guys to hit this number. As far as this goes, if you are more active, again, if you have a lot of lifting or if you really want to gain weight, a lot of you guys are athletes on here trying to gain weight, then carbohydrates will be higher than those who are trying to lose weight, right? So for fats, if we're increasing them, we want about, for weight loss, we'll start weight loss about 15% carbohydrate. If you lose weight very slowly, I think a lot of times it has to do with this insulin thing. And that's why I'm really excited. If you guys, I know a lot of you guys are doing this with me, the ketones. This is ketones. Our goal when we learn how to burn fat as fuel, our body uses ketones, but you have to be extremely low carb. And I don't want you guys to be under 50 grams of carbs a day unless you know that that's safe for you and you've tried it before. It's around 50 to 100 grams of carbs if you're a weight loss client. And that's just gonna be really tough for a lot of you, and that's okay. Just try it. It's not gonna be perfect. The reason I love the exogenous ketones is because it helps you get through this first week of cutting carbs. Because when you're switching from a carb burner to a fat burner, it's really sucky. It sucks. There's gonna be headaches. You're gonna feel like death. You're gonna think I'm crazy. But when you can get through this hump, this first 7 days, it feels really amazing. So the Keto OS is why I'm so excited, because it helps people get through that hump. So I know a lot of you are doing it. You can do this in the morning, right when you wake up, instead of eating, and maybe doing a little bit of a fast until 11, and then having a high fat, high protein meal for lunch with lots of veggies. That's how I'm using that. I also use it when I have more carbs. It helps me stay in the fat burning zone. So ketone burning zone. Fats, the only thing I'm gonna say, the last thing, we'll talk more about fats with Ryan, is that we really just want to stay away from the bad fats, the trans fats, the fried fats, the canola oil, the vegetable seed oil. Those are not good for your diet. They're not good for your heart. They're not good for your health. So really look at the resources I provided. If it's not in the meal plan and it's not on the list, then don't eat it. Canola oil is horrible for you. So please just get that shit out of your diet. It's a rancid, oxidized fat, and we don't want it. It's gonna hurt our heart. It's not gonna make us feel good. The good fats we want are coming from saturated fats and good sources of cholesterol like butter. I promise your body will feel better with them, but we also have to lower the carbohydrates as well. Holy shit, this was a long video. Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking. There's so many questions on day 2, and I've tried to break it up into 3 videos before, and it just ended up being more questions than not. So this is our protein, carbs, fats video. If you want, you can use MyFitnessPal, figure out how many grams of protein you're eating today. You can see your percentages, go look in the resources for more info on your macronutrients. Just don't freak out if you just cut sugar, and if you just work on higher protein and good meals with good fats and lowering those carbohydrates, you're gonna see results. So don't overthink it. This is a great journey. I'm excited to be on it with you. See you tomorrow.